I think we're live.
It's not on New Earth.
Not yet.
Oh, there it is. It didn't come up right
Okay.
away.
All
All
right.
right. Well, hello everybody. I'm Michelle today with one L.
With one L, yes.
Yes. And so I'm filling in today for Michelle. Unfortunately, she's a bit under the weather, and so I'm here with Sharon. My name is Mike. If you haven't seen me before, I've been on a few of these with Sharon and Michelle, and just had a really good time. So I got the call a couple hours ago. Want to do it? Yes. I said, sure. Because this is always fun, much better than going out in the yard and pulling weeds like I was planning on doing.
Oh man, thank you, Mike. Thank you for
Sure.
being here. Yeah. Hey everyone, and Monica. Hello, Monica. She's looking forward to this. So are we. Yay, got lots to share. And yeah, Michelle has changed a little bit. She grew a beard since last time we've seen her. But anyway, yeah, and cut her hair. Yeah, and dyed it a different color. So anyway, yeah, thank you, Mike, for pitch hitting for Michelle at the last minute. Really appreciate it.
We have Pete on New Earth Rising. He says, hi, looking forward to this session with you.
Yay. Hi, Pete. Thanks for being here.
Peter. Sorry,
Peter.
it's Peter.
Okay, Peter. Yeah, today let's introduce ourselves. Mike, why don't you go first? Tell everyone.
My name is Mike Dinkel. Been doing this basically since I was born, and really enjoy it. I do healing work on people. I've done incredible things with that. I facilitate a group on Meetup called the Monterey Metaphysical Meetup Group, and I've been doing that for 16, 18 years now. I am a psychic, rescue medium, and do regular mediumship work. I been channeling for 12, 13 years now. Man, time flies.
I know, right?
And just enjoy it. I mean, I started learning about this stuff back when there was no internet. You went down to the library and checked out a book. I started with Sylvia Browne and reading her stuff, and went on to many others. And just am having a wonderful time doing this work. I do the healing work full time and really enjoy it. Take it away, Sharon.
Oh, thank you. Well, you've been doing this a lot longer than me then, since you this wasn't on the internet. Well, when I opened up to my abilities, about 21 years ago, I was able to at least connect with some people on the internet. It wasn't well known, but mostly because I lived in Texas, and mostly the people that I was able to connect with were in a little metaphysical store right down the street, which is pretty rare in my area, San Antonio area.
Yeah.
But other than that, wasn't a lot of people to talk to about this. So yeah, I've been doing, this type of work for close to 20 years. I had a near-death experience in 2001, and which opened me up to actually the truth about who we are and what humanity is all about, kind of thing. And I've been growing and learning more and more ever since, and just finding out more and more every day that we absolutely know nothing about about our existence and who we are. We've been duped for a long time. So anyway, we are here to help who is ever here connect. If you want to connect with your guidance, your unseen helpers, that kind of thing, bring some tools, maybe share what works for us. because we found, Mike, I would imagine you would agree that that's super helpful to be able to connect with our unseen peeps on the other side and help us throughout our life.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you can call on them, I mean, because you're never alone. I mean, you're out in the middle of the forest and there's nobody around, but you're not alone. They're there with you and they watch over you. I mean, they're guides. They guide you in that way also. So it's wonderful.
Right. Yeah. And I think that once we start recognizing their communications to us, you know, in however they do communicate, which we'll share how we've gotten communications and what we understand to be communication. Once they do communicate with us that way, it's pretty subtle then, normally, not always, but then we do finally realize, you know what, we are not alone, but we are here, we are here to live our life the way we chose, you know, learn, heal, all that and everything like that. So they can't do everything for us, but they can definitely help us in areas, kind of like how we would guide. I see them as our assist guidance, our spirit team on the other side. I see them as like we would be guiding someone here on the earth plane type of thing, where we can't go, or maybe our children or someone, you know, who's just learning something. We wouldn't go out and do it for them.
No.
You know, we'd give them tools and maybe help them. And if they come and ask us something, okay, well, here, this is what I find is helpful.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then give them information. That's what our guides are all about. They can't do it for us.
No.
Yeah.
Very good. Good description.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, and we also want to talk about connecting to not only our guides and our angels, which angels help us too, but also maybe some tools to how to connect with our loved ones on the other side. It's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, very similar. It's working with energy and recognizing energy. And we actually know how to do it, but when we come to Earth, we forget it all. I mean, most of our life is spent in the realm or heaven or whatever you want to call it. And so we meet and communicate with each other through energy. We don't see human bodies up in heaven. We see, well, we don't have eyes, but we feel the energy of each other. And that same feeling of energy is how we feel our guides and how we feel when our parents, if they've passed on, come and visit us. We feel and recognize their energy. And in that feeling is the recognition. And it's, once you start using it and using it a lot, then it comes to you, it comes back to you. You remember it. It's just a practice, like all of this is. The more you practice, the better you get at it.
Right. Yeah, good point. Everyone has their own energy signature, I've found. No two beings are the same, no personalities, you know, no humans, no soul aspects. So everyone has their own energy signature. So as you work with energy, like Mike was saying, then, and I found this as well, I found that the more I trust my intuition, my clairsentience, the more I'm able to recognize who is with me, who's approaching me, that kind of thing. And it doesn't mean I'm always right, but it the more you do it, like Mike says, the more you do it, the more you're able to recognize certain beings if you work with them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can recognize their energy frequency. Like if you're working with ascended masters or guides or angels, you recognize that frequency compared to a loved one, maybe if you're doing mediumship or something like that. Right?
Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a difference. You can feel the difference.
Yeah. It's kind of like also with earthbound spirits, you can feel the difference with them. Very often you can still feel the ego and their pains. If you're empathic, you can feel the difference as compared to somebody that would come down from heaven, as we call it, and visit us. They're from a place of love, and they are just full of unconditional love. They have no ego, they have no body and no pain anymore. And it's quite different. It's amazing.
Yeah. And Mike and I do spirit rescue together, and we're both psychopomp spirit rescuers. So we work with that type of energy a lot too, with helping people that are still attached to the earth plane.
And animals also. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Any sentience who come to us that may need, or is brought to our in our realm, in our circle, in our orbit, who may need help, because our guides tend to bring beings to us, or any type of being that needs help.
I got a couple of comments. Brittany Allen says, Sharon, I bought a spirit animal card deck, and it revealed that my spirit animal is a snake, and my daughter's and husband's is a cosmic egg, which is an egg with a snake wrapped around it.
Wow.
And then she went on to say, I thought that was really cool. Not sure what it all means, though.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the cards don't, I guess, don't come with a description or anything of well, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, that's interesting. I've
Well,
worked with any cards like that, but I've been told, and I have spirit animals that are with me. I have the first one I met was a bull, but he walked on hind legs. It was more of like a Native American dressed in a bull kind of costume, or so to speak. They wouldn't call it a costume. They would call it something else, but
maybe ceremony type of
ceremonial
garb.
Right, exactly. And then a friend of mine told me I had eagle with me, and what was the other one? A wolf.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I've had eagles since I was a child. Eagle's been with me a long time. I was Brittany Allen. When you think of snake, what do you think of? And that might be your message. When I think of snake, I think of primordial energy, cosmic egg from the beginning, that type of thing. Could be messages about new beginnings, going to your roots, maybe diving into your roots, moving energy through that. It could have something to do with that. Yeah. But I love snakes. Snakes are amazing. I know some people don't just freak out about snakes. I love them.
Yeah, I do too. I've had quite a few throughout my lifetime.
Have you? Oh, I've never had snakes.
As a kid growing up, I had gopher snakes, garter snakes, king snakes. We have a California ringneck snake, which is quite small. There's a sharp-tailed snake, which is I think it's actually a lizard, but it has no legs. Oh, and then there's the legless lizard, which it actually has like a lizard jaw and face kind of look. And it maneuvers through the sand and through things like a snake does without legs. Amazing.
Is that a California thing?
Yeah.
Wow, I never heard of that.
Yeah. And then
Californians, they always got to be different, don't they?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of varieties of different snakes too. So, I mean, you have we have the gopher snake, which is pretty popular. And then there's It's also called a bull snake back east. It's called quite a few different things, but it resembles a rattlesnake. So it often gets killed because of misunderstanding or misdiagnosis of what it is. You don't see a rattle on the back, but it has kind of a diamond shape to the back of it, of the pattern to it.
Yeah.
But they're very nice to have around. Good for your garden.
I think a snake would be a very good totem for you. I mean, when you think of all the versatility of a snake,
Yeah.
That would be a really nice totem, a really good totem.
Yeah.
It brings
sure.
a lot of qualities into your life. I always look at the qualities of an animal that shows itself to me on a regular basis. And I find that, and this is going into what we're talking about, this is a really good way to listen to that animal totem or guide for you, if it keeps showing up to you, and what the qualities of that animal are. And the message could be integrating those qualities into your life, that there's something going on in your life where the qualities of that animal or insect or reptile or whatever could be helping you with something going on in your life at that time. I find that there's different phases of our life, and we know this, Mike, right? Different guides will come to us that have expertise in areas that we're working on, that we're working through.
Yeah. Often we'll have we'll have one or two that stick with us for most of our life. Sometimes they rotate in and out. And then we have those that come in for specific things we're going through. If you're going through a lot of heartache, one that can assist with that will come in, and that type of thing. Brittany also said that's what she was thinking too. I was thinking more of the snakes can shed their skin, which is a wonderful thing, because that's letting go of the old and enjoying the new, or stepping through a door. You're letting the past go, coming new again.
Perfect. Yeah, there you go. Good way to interpret that. Good job. Yeah, definitely. There's just so many meanings to these or messages from our guides. And I found that we get messages all the time. The universe, spirit, is communicating with us all the time.
Yes.
We recognize maybe a micro milliliter of the communications we're getting.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. But the more we work with that and have that awareness and remember, like Mike was saying, the more we remember that the universe is always communicating with us, then the more synchronicities we experience, the more communications we feel and get, signs that happen around us. And I was saying earlier that the guidance communicates normally in subtle ways. The only time they might be screaming at us is if our life is in danger, or we just refuse to listen. And then, like my stepdad used to say, and then we get hit over the head with a 2x4 if it's really important and we're not listening. So we don't really want that. But it's usually pretty subtle with spirit communications.
Yeah, I've had them scream at me several times.
Yeah.
To the point where they even threatened to take me, and leave the earth.
Oh, you mean die?
Yeah. They just said, we can stop all this. And what it was is, as a teenager, I didn't know what to do with this. I had all this stuff coming in, and started drinking, started doing drugs, never got hooked on either one of them, which was amazing. But I continued through my 20s, and in my later 20s, they came to me and said, look, you need to stop doing this. You're harming your body. And we need you to start doing this work. And I said, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Well, I didn't. And then the next time I was high, they would say, you said you were going to do this. And long story short, it got to the point they were yelling at me. And one time I drove home and they said, okay, if you try and park in the garage right now, you're going to lose control of your car and go slamming through the garage into the rock wall behind it. And they were very serious. And so I got out of the car and I had a friend of mine get in the car and park it in the garage and trying to get them to understand what was going on and explaining it all. They thought I was crazy, but they could tell from my anxiety with all of it that, okay, I'll go do it, So, and eventually they threatened me, we can stop all this. And so I said, okay, I hear you.
So how are they communicating with you, Mike? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but how are they communicating?
The first time they contacted me while I was in the shower. And that
so you hear them and
yeah, I would hear them
in your mind or out audible outside of you, or
it
what?
was like it was inside of you.
Okay.
It wasn't through your ears, but it was inside of you. And
right.
And yeah, it just, yeah, if you don't listen, then they get
louder.
They get louder and louder. And
yeah. So. Also, if you don't listen, I found that, that's quite a story, Mike. Wow. I found that we start to get anxiety, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Things start going wrong around us, things like that, if we're not listening. Yeah. And that's what my near-death experience was kind of all about. Is I was a partier, same here. And the same thing, I didn't get addicted. I did feel I was getting addicted to cocaine at the time when my stepfather passed. And I've told this story before, but maybe those that are here haven't heard it. But where a couple of days after he died, a day or two, not that long, I'm standing there with my ex, who was the cocaine addict, which I didn't know at the time, but we just did it on weekends, or I thought we were. I was only doing it on weekends. But anyway, I was doing a line right there, standing there in the kitchen, and I feel my dad right next to me, just like I feel anyone's in physical form standing right next to me. And he said, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? He said, but it sounded more like, what the F are you doing? And and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And I haven't done anything like that since, but I could feel I was getting, how you could feel where you need something or want something. So he pretty much saved me from that. And then I had my near-death experience a couple years later. And I was still partying a little bit, but I wasn't doing cocaine anymore. I was drinking and partying, but I was still holding down a job and still being a normal person, but I was not trying to make my life better, I guess you could say. I was in a bad relationship. Things were going not well that way. And so, but yeah, those things happen.
Yep. Yeah. And they want to see you improve and get better. And that's why they work with you and scream and yell at you.
Yeah.
Seriously, they are here to guide us. They're here to help us. And they want nothing more than for us to be able to work with them, to help them, to have them help us.
So. Yes. So Monica makes a really good point, and I get the same kind of guidance in my guides talk to me this way too. She said, I recently started noticing guides communicating with me with songs that come into my head. The lyrics are relative to what I was thinking or worrying about. It's humorous. Exactly. That is a really excellent way for them to communicate. So pay attention to music if you listen to music, and everyone should be listening to music.
Yeah. Anything that comes to you repeatedly, like 11, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
seeing anything in particular multiple times, there's a reason you're seeing that or
Yeah.
hearing things, you have to look at that.
What I do is, and I find that when we see those repeating numbers, that they're little portals for us, little portals of maybe packets of information for that connection. And so I normally say, okay, are you trying to tell me something, or is this just a hello? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And whatever, whatever I feel, whatever I get is what I go with. But sometimes they're trying, spirit may be trying to give you a message, but I feel it's like it's a little portal.
Yeah. I often see the numbers 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3, 4 right after I've made a good decision.
Nice.
And that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. That is. And especially that you recognize what it's about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a good point, because when we start listening to our spirit team and guidance, the universe talking to us, communicating with us, sometimes we're like, and I still do this, what does it mean? What does it mean? And I think that, well, I feel, and I have experienced, maybe it's not really that important to know what it means at the time. What's important is to trust that this is a communication. And the more you trust it, and the more you ask for it, and the more you look for it, the more we get, we open up that conduit.
Yes.
And then it becomes natural for us, because this is really the natural way we are.
Yes, I agree.
The way we've been programmed is not the natural way. This is the natural way we are.
Yeah.
And then things start to make sense.
Yes. So,
Right?
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, I don't see any questions here. If anyone has any questions, you're welcome to share them. It also goes for not only communicating with our guides, but also with our loved ones. The same thing, same type of trust with communicating with our loved ones. And sometimes it's difficult when we've lost someone that we care about, to trust that that they are communicating with us. So I think tools are really helpful.
Yes, definitely.
Tools, yeah, tools like cards. Brittany Ann was talking. Brittany Ann, right? Is it Brittany Ann or Brittany Ann?
Brittany Allen.
Brittany Allen. Okay, Brittany was talking about cards. Those are tools. Those are tools we can use
Yeah.
to communicate, and it helps. And what it does is it helps with that link, helps with connection. Like pull a card every day, or if you use tarot, do a little reading for yourself every day or something like that.
Yeah. Pull out a pendulum, ask a question,
Mm-hmm.
get a yes, no answer, or any way you use a pendulum. Whatever you do use, it's a way of communicating with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I started using a spirit board.
Uh,
It's a funny story. So when my stepfather died, I was very close to him, and that's kind of opened in 98. That opened everything for me, opened up the floodgates for me. My mother, who was still here on the planet, she missed him really badly. They were very, very, very close, married a long time. And she wanted to communicate with him. He actually left a message on, remember the old answering machines?
uh-huh.
Whoops, when we'd have a landline phone and answering machines, he left a message on her answering machine.
Wow.
Yeah, he has a very distinct voice, like yours, Mike. Kind of a low voice, and he has a very distinct voice. And he said her name on the answering machine after he passed. So
Wow.
Yeah, so a friend of mom's was a psychic, and I didn't know that, but she said, "Why don't you get a Ouija board?" And I'm like, "Okay." I didn't know. I mean, I didn't have that program about Ouija boards that some people have. So I bought a Ouija board, and mom and I were able to talk to my dad on the Ouija board. Um, and when my hands were on it, it would just fly across the Ouija, and we knew it was him. There was no doubt about it. So when mom passed, what I did was I got an angel board, which is just a really beautiful spirit board and a third eye board. And I started talking to mom on the angel board after she passed.
Nice.
Yeah, and I missed her so badly. I would come home from work, this is in San Antonio, and sit out in the backyard and just talk to her on the board every day after work. And she ended up bringing my guide through on the angel board.
Oh, great. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, and then I communicated with him on the angel board after that, and so he helped me tremendously. And I've shared with some people it was Yeshua that came through, and he helped me remember that he met me in my near-death experience. I didn't remember that. I didn't recall that.
Uh,
But anyway, so we communicated, which is really funny, isn't it? That I communicate with Yeshua, Jesus on a spirit board.
well, it's just another form of
It's a tool.
divination. Yeah,
It's a
it's a
tool.
tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not toys. A Ouija board is not toys. It's
No,
not a toy.
they never should have been sold in toy stores.
I know. I guess I'm lucky. When I was 13, some of us kids got together to try to use one and it didn't move. So I guess I'm lucky, because
Yeah.
not a good idea.
No, no. As with most anything, people are also afraid of crystal balls, because of visions that come to them. If you don't know what you're doing, try to learn about it before you start doing it.
Yeah.
There's so much accessible. I mean, YouTube's out there to teach you anything you want to know.
Yeah.
And where before you'd have to go read a book about it. But
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I think that, right, you have to go to the library or buy a book. Um, I would suggest always protect yourself, say a blessing or something to bring in your higher peeps whenever
yeah,
you're using some kind of divination tool. Um, but tools are really good to help with communicating with spirit.
yeah,
And I think, number one, the best way to communicate is through meditation,
yeah,
because we have to be able to empty our mind sooner or later and listen.
yeah.
We're constantly talking, like I'm doing now. We're constantly talking
Yeah. Well,
in our mind. Yeah,
if we all went quiet right now, everybody would turn things off.
I know, right? But our mind is constantly going.
Yeah. And when you
We,
can quiet it down, you are able to step into different realms and communicate in such better ways,
yeah,
with your
yeah,
higher self, with your guides, in so many things. So
yeah. So number one tool, meditation, I believe.
yeah,
Meditation. I promised Yeshua that I would be in my room every night at 9 p.m. for meditation. And it was life transforming for me. It really was. It was transformational. That's why I started going through my quickening and things like that, and connected with him. That was my classroom. My room was my classroom. My teacher, I could see in my mind's eye, see my teachers in the room with me. And he was one of them. And I listened to them more than I listened to people here.
good. Much better to listen to them.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it was fun, but it definitely moved me up quite a few levels.
Yeah.
So we have some questions here, Mike, unless you have something to add to that.
No.
So Nika, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Nika. She says, she or he, pardon me, I wanted to know how long before I get a new job.
So the first thing I got was 3 months. And that's what I heard just as soon as the question was asked.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't seem that it's going to be a job you're going to like much more than the one you have. It will be nice because it's new, but maybe the problem is you're not making your jobs enjoyable to you, or working with your job to make it enjoyable. And I had that problem with one of my jobs. And so I said, it's terrible now. What do I got to lose? Let's try this. So I envisioned the place full of white light, and white light is a healing light, and just encompassed the whole building. First, the area I worked in, and then the whole building in white light. Then when I walked in with a very positive attitude, with a smile on my face, and would walk in and greet everybody and say hello and just be of an uplifting, positive attitude. And that shifted everything. I mean, even the girl I was working with, we just did not get along. Within 3 to 4 days, we were speaking to each other and telling jokes and having a good time, where before we only spoke when we had to. It was terrible. And it shifted everything. And that's true with most everything. When you decide inside that you want to be happy, then happiness will come to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, she, her pronounced Neka or Neka. I'm gonna feel soft A. All right. I got the number 4, which could be close to what you were getting, Mike, but I got the number 4. And I got also that it depends on how much energy you put into it. It feels to me like there's some resistance there. And it could be what Mike was feeling too. There's some resistance there with finding, or with baggage, I guess you could call it, from old employment, or where you're at now in old employment. That's getting in the way of you putting energy into something that you really want or is fulfilling for you. I do feel that what you do get next is a stepping stone. I do see you getting something, but it feels like a stepping stone to something else. They're showing me like that. What I'm seeing. So what they're saying is write down what you want, make it happen, write your own book. They always tell me this: write your own book, write it down. Don't just let the world, create for you, create what you want. And so put your goals down. What kind of a job do you want? What, be as specific as possible. When do you want it? When do you, how do you want to use your skills? Do you want to take any more classes to maybe make it better for you, or something like that? Make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of you may wonder how we come up with these answers, and it comes from our guides. So our guides will connect to your guides, and they will communicate and bring across information. And this happens in a split second, as you saw. I mean, as soon as the question was asked, I heard 3 months. And where did that come from? You know, it had to have come from my guides, and they access it connecting to you, the client or whoever we're doing a reading on. And that's what is so important about working and learning to work with your guides. That information comes in, and it can be very useful whether you do psychic readings or not. I mean, knowing, you know, things like that are beneficial. So
Yeah, we are meant to connect to our inner guidance, and it's our inner guidance. We
yes,
are made for it. That's how we were created. So it's normal. Like I said earlier, it's normal for us to be able to get our answers.
yeah,
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
sure.
So you're welcome. NECA says thank you so much. You're very welcome.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So Monica has a question. Can you ask my guides for some hints about what future income streams will be from? Okay, will they be from? Such as a higher purpose or even a rich boyfriend? Thank you very much. Okay. An income stream from a rich boyfriend? Mm.
That sounds real good, but then you're relying on somebody else, you know, and
Well, she's joking, but
yeah,
yeah, it's a it's a perk.
right.
Okay. Hints about what future income streams will be, where they'll be from is what I'm, such as a higher purpose. All right, so that's confusing for me. Sorry.
So what I got was either you're going to have income coming from self-employment or something that you're doing yourself. And maybe it's something at your job that you're presently at that you take on yourself, or it's a self-employment, you know, entrepreneurial type thing. That's where your next income will come from or increase from.
Yeah, I know Monica, so I'm in an advantage here. Yeah, and I will say, I currently do self-employment, art and healing, but feel like there's something else. Gotcha. Okay, so good job, Mike. Yeah. Currently feel like there's something else. Go ahead if you're getting something.
They really want you to step into it. Your guides do. They have been waiting, they said. So what they asked me to do is, oh, I can't say that.
What?
They said, shit or get off the pot. It's an old term. You know, either jump
You can say that here.
in with both feet or get out of the water, you know. And so I jumped in with both feet, and I continue to take classes on learning to do healing. They've already told me the only reason you're taking classes is for the enjoyment, Mike. You're already doing incredible healing. You know, it's fun to take classes. If you enjoy it, go do it. But you're being called in that way. And many people are being called that are of a healing nature, that are natural healers, because we need it so much right now. Yeah, and they're wanting you to step into that more. So however you see stepping into it more, and watch for signs. With me, classes would come. I would be out on the internet looking at things, wasting time, and suddenly something would come up, you know, and oh, this has to do with healing. And I have the next hour to sign up, and I get $300 discount on the class. Oh, okay. You know, and sign up and
It's
go
right
take
there.
the class, and you know, that's right in your face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Monica, I got teaching that you're meant to teach. Teach what you love. Teach what sings to you, sings to your heart. Monica says, but the healing work is heavy and not often fun. Well, I guess it's like that.
Again, it's how you look at
Yeah.
it. With me, it's, I mean, I've seen things that would make people run. And I've also seen miracles take place multiple times. I mean, I saw inoperable lung cancer shrunk down to the size of an orange and removed. And the gentleman lived. I mean, it's hard work. You get clients that you don't even want to work with, but they have come to you, and you have to remember that. They've come to you not because you just happen to be the lucky one. They were guided to you. And in that, you have to continue to see that and work with it. And as frustrating as they may be, you keep working on them until they decide, otherwise. And it's their choice. I mean, it's also yours. If it's a complete waste of your time, then you need to let them know that too. There's one client that I have most recently that it's just going to be a tough job. Let's just put it that way.
Those are the ones that teach us, though.
Yeah, they do.
Challenging situations are the ones that I learn the most from.
Yeah.
Definitely. So yeah. But Monica, I keep getting you're meant to teach. So like Mike was saying, should have get off the pot with sharing your gifts. So you're meant to share your gifts. We're all here we're meant to share our abilities and our gifts and be of service. And if something isn't resonating with you, then maybe take a break from it, or or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're feeling in the dumps after you're doing some kind of certain work, and it's not and there's resistance there, because if we dread doing something, we're not really doing anyone any help, any
No.
good,
No.
and it drains us. So so you might want to think about taking a break from something that that isn't resonating with you at the moment. But I forgot to mention that I do have a surprise at the end of our show. I found this really cool. I just got it yesterday. Really cool. And Monica, you don't like this, but it's really cool. It's not like the other one, Spirit Box app, and it's it's called the Miracle Box. And they answer. It's just one voice answering in real time, and you get to pick the voice. But I just wanted to play some that I got yesterday that I'm gonna do that at the end.
Nice.
Monica, please stay. It's not as scary as the other one.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
pretty nice. I like it a lot better. So we had talked about also teaching how to connect with your guides. So one of the things I was taught by one of my teachers was to learn to recognize their energy. And what you would do is communicate with them. Just say, today I would like to work with my guides. I'd like you to come and stand in front of me. And if you would, I would like your help. And so you have them come and stand in front of you and see if you can feel the energy shift that's in front of you. And you can be standing or you can be sitting when you do this. And you also want to say a little prayer before you get started. Something like, I invite my guides in to join me today. I ask that only those of the vibration of unconditional love or higher be present in the room. And I wish to work with my guides and ask them to join in. So you would ask them to come and stand in front of you and see if you can feel the change in the energy. Then have them walk from in front of you over to your right side and see if you can feel the energy shift and move there. Then have them go and stand behind you, then go over to your left side, and then back around to your right side. And then have them step back about 4 feet and see if you can feel it moving back. Now, the first time we did this, I couldn't feel a thing. The second time I started to feel them when they came forward, but that was it. And I kept practicing. I really wanted to get this. So I was doing it twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. And when you get done, thank them. Gratitude is real important. So I would say, thank you for this. I started to feel something, you know, I'd like to do it some more. If it's okay with you, I'd appreciate it. Giving thanks and giving gratitude is important. So that practice worked for me. You can have them go around to the right, you can have them go around to the left, but just starting to recognize that energy as it moves, and have just one of your guides, the same guide, do it. So you start recognizing that one. Then if you have a second guide working with you as well, you could have them come and do the same thing. And eventually you'll start to feel when they are with you. Like, excuse me, you get into your car and you can feel over your right shoulder, one of your guides is with you, or two of your guides are with you. And pretty soon you'll be able to feel other energies when they're with you. I've been driving down the road and suddenly my car is full of people. My mom and my dad are in the car, and my sister's in the back seat, you know, and my mom's in the back seat. And hi, gang, you know, join me. I'm just going to the store, but you're welcome to join. You know, you can feel the energy when they come in. So anyway, that was one of the practices I learned and really enjoyed learning.
I love that.
Practicing.
I love that. Yeah, that's a really good tool to use, or a good practice.
Yeah.
Monica says that is super cool, Mike. Yeah.
Great. Glad you
I've
enjoyed.
also found that when with your loved ones, when you think about them, there's a connection. They're either thinking about you or you're thinking about them. That means that
Yep.
you are connected to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't come out of the blue. There's you know, a reason for it. There, like I said, there, because whenever we think about someone or a situation, we send a cord, we send a energy cord.
Yes.
That's where our thought goes, and vice versa. So, you know, if they're thinking about you, then they're sending that thought to you. If you're thinking about them, you're sending that cord to them, that kind of thing. So there's a reason why we're thinking about our loved ones. Because
Yes.
they're close. They're either right there or they're thinking about us, and that brings them to us. And we're thinking about them, that brings them to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same energy that a lot of people have experienced when they get that phone call. You know, you're thinking about your aunt in New York and thinking, oh, I haven't called and spoke to her in a long time. And 20 minutes later, your aunt from New York calls you. Well, she felt that energy, or she, you know, thought of you, because that connection of energy sent out, which is through your auric field. She feels it and she reciprocates back to you and calls you up. Yeah. A lot of us have gotten phone calls like that.
Oh, yeah. And again, that's normal. It's
Yeah.
normal for us to, I have memory of past lives where we're communicating telepathically.
Yeah.
We're not speaking. We're communicating other lives, you know. Sometimes I don't even know if they're past or whatever, but we're communicating telepathically, and we're not really speaking to each other. We're not using our vocal cords.
Right.
And we do that on the other side as well, because in our I have out of body experiences, and it's telepathic. It took me a little while to get a hang of it, because when you're in an out of body experience and you try to speak with your vocal cords, it sounds really funny because you don't have vocal cords. So it's normal for us to communicate telepathically, and we're constantly communicating telepathically. All of us here are communicating with each other on a telepathic level.
Yep.
We are sending information back and forth like crazy, and not just to each other here, but also to our guides that are here. And
Yep.
they're, you know, everyone's guides, everyone's spirit team, their loved ones or whatever. So all that information is going around everyone who's connected with each other. Monica says, I used to tell people that my kitty creamsicle knows English, but now I realize we communicate telepathically. Fun. Oh, definitely animals all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And with them, often it's with pictures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any questions from that end, Mike? Or comments?
Look at this. Kristen, I guess my question is, should I stay? Wait a minute. One before that. Sorry. I've been struggling with my purpose in life, and if I'm doing anything right, but I'm trusting that I am, that makes sense. If that makes sense, is been harder with all these new energies. Which being an empath makes it even harder.
And who's this?
This is Kristen
Okay.
Avalos, Avalos.
So her question is,
struggling with her purpose in life. So
okay.
What I was taught, your purpose in life is what you are doing in that moment. Meaning, if you're washing cars for a living and you're doing it with your heart, then that's your meaning in life. If you're doing it because that's a way to make money and that's then that's not really your purpose in life. If you're doing it because you have to, and then it's not really your purpose. It's when you're doing things with your heart that make it your purpose. The other thing to look at is what you enjoy doing that makes your heart sing, makes your heart feel good. With me, doing things like this, connecting with people, to do readings, to do rescue mediumship work, to do healing work. It just feels so good to me to do this type of thing. And that's how I know I'm on my path, because it feels good in my heart. My ego's not saying, oh, this is really good, you're going to like this, or, oh, you're just dreaming, you're making this all up, those kind of things. You can feel it in your heart. Like when we get off and get done today and I go to stand up and do other things, I'll feel this goodness in my heart that I was able to touch people's lives and help them. And that's our calling. And if it's washing cars and it helps people, then that's great. That can be your calling. It doesn't have to be something spectacular, mind-blowing, or, in that way. It doesn't even have to be something that makes a lot of money. Just what feels good in your heart.
Yeah.
Hope that helps.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. And I believe that our purpose, so to speak, is multi-layered, and it changes as we move through our life, like you said, right? Because when we're a baby, our purpose is to survive, eat, drink milk from our mother, that kind of thing. When we get old, when we're a child, our purpose is to learn how to walk, or a toddler, then their purpose is to learn how to speak, that kind of thing. So as we get older, and if things are not going in our life the way we want, and we feel there's something more, then it's definitely time to take stock. I found personally, take stock in what's going, what makes me feel good, and what and what isn't working for me in my life, and maybe do some house cleaning, spiritual house cleaning kind of thing. And that can be your purpose at that moment.
Yes.
Okay. Because I think that, I mean, I get, and Mike, you probably do too, and there's so many people that that come to us that I just don't know, you know, what my purpose is, or I don't know, I just don't know that I need to be doing something more. So, and that is really normal, actually. And what I was taught, what I was shown, is to start writing down or journaling or whatever it is that makes you feel good. Like Mike was saying, that
Yeah.
feeds your heart, that feeds your soul. And you'll find that maybe your purpose is just to find that out. Doesn't mean you have to go out and, you know, make a bunch of money doing it or anything like that, but maybe just to find that out. Maybe that's your purpose. And I find that the best way that we can feel fulfilled in life is to help others.
Yeah.
It's what our human nature is all about. Basically, if we, once we get rid of our programming and heal and cleanse all the stuff that's getting in the way of us, you know, trying to make it through the, you know, day by day, just trying to make it, just wanting to help other people and share what helps us and help people be, when we see people suffering, you know, we want to help them,
Yeah.
right? We want to help them. And so that's what feeds us. And so I would write down and just start diving into what makes you tick and what makes your heart sing, and just start diving into it. And journaling is the best way to dive into ourselves, know thyself, right?
Yes. Yes.
And find out what we're all about. And that way we get all the other stuff out of the way that we feel dutiful to do and be. It doesn't mean there isn't some things that we shouldn't do, but we, by the end of this life, I want to know who I am. Because I've been here many lifetimes where I spent a lot of time figuring it out. And I imagine people here are saying the same thing. I want to know who I am in this lifetime. This is the one. This is it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. So that's what I'm getting. Hope that's helpful, Kristen. And there was another question you said?
Yeah. There's a Charlene Williams. Hello. I would love to
Charlene?
get some insight into my relationship with my mom. Do I need to suck it up or remove myself from taking care of my elderly mom? I'm having a hard time having patience dealing with my mom, and old child trauma is coming up yet for me, I think. That's a good question. So you don't, so I actually took CNA classes to become a certified nurse's assistant. And the one thing are they talk about a lot is being sure you don't burn yourself out, because you can, either as a CNA, as somebody coming in to help an elderly person, or a family member. You want to do these things, but you can also harm yourself, and you can overdo it, and you can bring in a lot more stress into your life than is good for you. Stress itself is not good for us. So it's important to look at that. If you're doing it yourself, that's hard. You should be having assistance. You should have other family members that possible help you. Maybe have assistance where you can take a day or 2 days off, preferably 2 days off sometime during the week, so you can spend time, away from that. As far as letting it go or sticking with it, you have to make that decision. I mean, I'm connecting with you, but I'm feeling frustration, and I'm not getting an answer as to your question in that form, in that way. The childhood trauma it's hard to believe it, but it's something good. When something pushes your buttons, that's an indication that you have work to be done. You need to take a look at what's pushing your buttons and it's bringing up. It's often old childhood trauma, or could be teenage trauma, could be young adult trauma, trauma of any kind, old patterns that no longer serve you, and they are getting brought up, and they come forward for us so that we can learn from it. It's actually a good thing. I look at it as a challenge, and I try and find the gold, as I was taught, in each of those challenges. And that gold is the answer to the problem, to the challenge. Excuse me. Like, for instance, if I got upset because my brother wasn't doing the dishes, he would come in and just throw his dishes in the sink. And I would go to do the dishes, and here's this mess, and I got to clean up his mess. So why is that upsetting me? Is it because of the actual dishes, or is it because it's my brother, or what? Where is this all coming from? And in finding that, it allows you, excuse me, to heal that part of your body, to heal those old traumas and let them go. So you do your inner work, and you look at that, and as best you can, and see, where is this really coming from? Is it because I'm being overwhelmed by dirty dishes, or because my brother irritates me, or because, of all these different things? See where it leads back to, and see if it doesn't have something to do with something earlier in your life that maybe your brother did. In this case, possibly your mom. And then forgive yourself for that. And when it comes up again, and it will, you simply say, oh, I remember this. I already forgave myself for this. And then let it go. It's that simple. You forgave yourself already. You've already found the gold. And it will come back up, because we get tested. Why in the world they do that, I don't know, but we do. We get
constantly
tested. Yeah. And so it may come up 3 or 4 times, but eventually it won't come back up, because you are continually saying, oh, I've released this. I gave thanks for this, and I've learned from it. And I just, all I need to do now is just let it go. It's already done. And that's the gold.
Yeah. Yeah, I've found that I've learned that challenges are gifts, and the harder the challenge, the bigger the gift, the bigger the gold, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the bigger the gift. And as far as testing us, I believe we test ourselves. I believe it's our higher self that is testing us. It's our higher self that is guiding us all throughout our lifetime, and our guides and our spirits team are the ones that are helping us with tools to make our journey a little bit easier, or to get through the healing and the challenges that we chose for ourselves, so we could get through this and learn and grow as much as possible. Charlotte, I don't remember her specific question, Charlene's specific question about the situation with her mother. Mike,
She was having a hard time having patients dealing with
Okay.
the mom.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Ho'oponopono is a really good tool. Definitely. If you're not aware of Ho'oponopono, and if you are, you might want to take that back out of the, your toolbox,
Yeah,
because it helps in the situation at that moment, and just repeating that. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And I find that that's super helpful in every situation when I get triggered, or when I get impatient, I believe is the word she used, Charlene used. And when I'm, feeling out of sorts and irritated at someone or something.
yeah,
So that is really helpful. And it's guidance isn't going to tell you to do one thing or another, especially something this important. It's up to us to what I've found, it's up to us to walk through our challenges with as much ease and grace as possible. And while we're doing it, learn and grow and heal, like what Mike was saying, heal what we have going on, because your childhood traumas are there to dig in and heal. And this sounds like it's an opportunity for you, with you taking care of your mom, for you to be able to do that in this lifetime, so you don't have to repeat anything again when it comes to your relationship with your mom. So this is a golden opportunity, like Mike was saying, to dig in and heal as much as possible.
yes.
Be present for yourself and your mom, of course. Yeah, which sounds like you are.
Yeah, Ho'oponopono is very powerful. The first time I learned about it on a Friday night, and I got back with the same people on Tuesday, and they said, wow, Mike, you look different. What have you been doing? And I said, I've been doing that Ho'oponopono thing. And they said, really? You've been chanting those 4 lines? And I said, what 4 lines? I've just been doing the Ho'oponopono. Isn't that like a mantra? I thought it was like Ho'oponopono. I kept chanting it back and forth, and they were laughing like you're laughing. They were rolling. They said,
I love that.
oh, there's 4 lines. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive you. Please forgive me. And thank you. They said, well, whatever you're doing, it's working. My gosh. They said, you are glowing. What a difference. And I was at a point in my life where I was ready to do anything, no matter what it took, to help. And
so maybe that's all we need to do is
yes, just chant it. Yeah, I thought it was like just Ho'oponopono. Oh my gosh.
Once you get it down how to say it, man, then that's a win right there.
Yes. So it's HO'OponoPONO. And you can Google it. There's YouTubes. There's all kinds of things.
Lots of books on it too. I highly recommend reading up on it, because it's about taking responsibility for everything in our life.
Yeah.
The good and the bad.
Yeah. And it's all about you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. All those are about you, not about anybody else. You're not forgiving other people. But yeah.
That cracked me up. That's
It was.
I can see how it would lift you up.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's been done for thousands of years. So there's a lot of energy behind those words and that meaning. So it helped.
Yeah, it's an old ancient Hawaiian forgiveness practice.
Yeah, they did it in the morning and then again at night. And then Dr. Hugh Lin brought it around again. It was popular back in 2008, 2009. And a friend of mine interviewed him that way at the Sillamar Conference Grounds. And him and his friend and they talked about it and how he used it and how he was able to heal that whole psychic, or not psychic, but whole
Psychotic,
psychotic, yeah, insane ward, the whole place.
the criminally insane.
Criminally insane. I mean, it was incredible. They had a turnover of employees that was ridiculous. And he would take the manila envelopes with the clients and he would lay them on his lap. And he would do ho'oponopono about the first one and then set it aside and do the second one and set it aside. And he went through them all in the parking lot. He never even met these guys that are in the folders.
Yeah.
And
I also heard that he would look at their file, and anything that came up in him that that brought up any kind of a negative emotion, like judgment or disgust or whatever, he would ho'oponopono that until he was back to neutral.
Right.
Yeah. Because these were people who had committed pretty heinous crimes.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, so he didn't talk to them, like you said, he didn't talk to them.
Oh.
And I read the books too, from Joe Vitale, where he worked with him on his books. Yeah. And so he didn't talk to them at all. He just ho'oponoponoed anything that came up in him, like Charlene, you were talking about, anything that came up in him, you know,
pushed his buttons.
Yeah, he would ho'oponopono it until he came back to neutral, and it felt better, and then he move on. And everyone, I think he said there was one that wasn't released, that wasn't healed, but everyone was healed besides the one that he said we just couldn't get Jimmy or somebody healed. Yeah. So that's pretty amazing, and you don't hear about that on mainstream TV, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah. Hope that was helpful, Charlene. And we have just about enough time for me to, unless there's another question, share my miracle box. It's only take a couple minutes to share what I have here. Any more questions?
Oh, Charlene has a comment. She said, I'm actually in tears now. I don't cry much. I've got some work to do for sure that I've been putting off. It is time to quit running. Wow. Thank you, Mike and Sharon. That helped enormously. And then she said, laugh out loud, I will Google it, the ho'oponopono, because I typed it in and said a wonderful self-forgiveness practice. So good for her. Glad to be able to help.
Yeah. Thank you, Charlene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. You're the one who did it. You were open to it.
Yes.
Yeah, and you
yeah, by stepping forward and asking, that helps.
Right. All right, so no more questions. Let's do this.
No, that's pretty much it. There's
Monica, are you still with us? She doesn't like this. It's not as creepy as the other one, I swear. But it's I will share that this is called a miracle box. And okay, it's called the Miracle Box. Steve Huff talked about it. Yeah. Steve Huff, Huff Paranormal. He is amazing with spirit communication. I highly recommend, if you're interested in communicating with spirit with some kind of a tool like this, check out his channel. He's got some amazing stuff, and this is tangible stuff. So you can choose a voice that you want. I guess you can't see it, but it says female child, female elderly, female middle-aged, female older, then male child, male elderly, male middle-aged, or male teen. If you want to talk to someone, depending on who you want to talk to, you would choose that type of voice, and then it runs through a word bank of just gibberish, backwards gibberish kind of words, so you can't understand what they're saying. So if you hear a coherent sentence or answer to your question, then he says 100% that is spirit talking to you. Okay. And I've done spirit box and I've communicated. I even do EVPs on a digital recorder. So I know that spirit talks to us and uses this kind of stuff to talk to us.
Yeah.
So this is something that I just got this yesterday. So it's only $2.99. Go to Huff Paranormal if you want it. If you like what and this is just what I got yesterday. Just a few, little clips of few seconds when I ask questions. Hopefully this will work here. Can you see my screen?
Yep. Can see the
Okay.
files.
Okay. All right. Let me see here. Try this one. This one I played twice. Can you hear it?
Oops, I didn't get that. Hello, my love, are you here with me?
Wow.
I put the text in.
Oops, I didn't get that. Hello,
I'm playing
my
it
love, are
again.
you here with me?
Okay, so here's another one. It went right to the next one.
Hello, hello, are you here?
I can't understand. That's the gibberish that comes through, I think. Here's another one.
Can you give me a message for my day, please?
Have fun.
Beautiful.
I gotta play that one again. Oh no, it went to the next one. Okay, this one's cool.
Who am I talking to, please? Can you tell me who I'm talking to, please? Can you repeat that, please? I didn't hear you. Who am I talking
I said, and one more.
Hello, are you here? Hello? Do you see me?
That last one's a little harder to understand with the
Is it? Okay.
echo to it, but you can pretty much pick it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. They've come a long way.
Yeah, I will be. She goes, I can't. Oh, geez. It's not.
Oh boy.
It's the spirit manipulating these word banks. So it sounds a little distorted, but they're manipulating the word banks, the words that are backwards and gibberish, to make a coherent answer. And I think it's amazing. It's like a telephone. I'm going to use it like a telephone. That's what I'm doing. Oh, Monica, she may have left. All right, let's see here. We have, we have a comment here. Mike Star, thank you both for all you do for others. Oh, thank you, Mike, for saying that. Why do some people see Sasquatch, and what does it mean when you see them? Thank you. Good question.
Yeah. So I was watching an interview today with a gentleman that works with many different things, including Sasquatch. And they are of a different dimension and are able to come in and out of our dimension. And that's why they haven't been found, so to speak, and captured or anything like that. What does it
Is that
mean?
you?
You see one? No, it's not me. Oh, yeah, it is me. Sorry.
Okay.
What does it mean if you see them? It means you're well connected to the earth with nature. Otherwise, you wouldn't be seeing them. Because like other or earthly, how would you say it? Aliens, let's just say it. They don't like to be called that, so I try not to use that term. But if an alien doesn't want to scare you, they don't want to appear in front of you and have you, scared to death and take off running. They don't want that. They want you to be able to see them if you are open to that and if you're not afraid, and they can feel your energy just like you can feel when a grumpy person walks in a building or walks in the room. They can feel your energy the same way, and they don't want to scare you. That's the least thing they want to do. They want to be able to share with you, to teach you, to, just like your guides. And Sasquatch is the same way. He or she or child doesn't want to scare you. They don't want to do that. So if you see them, that's a really incredible sign. It means you're well connected to the earth, for one, because they are very connected to the earth. They're what this gentleman and others have said is they're actually part of the giants, of the family of giants that used to live, well, some would say still live in earth or on earth, but they're part of that family. And that's why they're so tall and so big. As far as hairy, I don't know, but he said what he was talking about was about he was visiting with Native Americans in the Midwest, in the desert area, and they see Sasquatch also, but it doesn't have black hair like the ones that you see in Oregon or Washington. Theirs is almost a strawberry blonde or a rusty brown, light rusty brown colored hair, which was quite interesting. I'd never heard of that before, but I'm not a Bigfoot Sasquatch follower as much as others are. But yeah, that would be my input about your question.
Yeah. I used to have I still have a telepathic relationship with the Sasquatch. He told me his name was Dinkel, and I met him in a forest, and I did not see him. I saw him in my mind's eye. I did not see him physically. And I was walking my dogs, and I felt this presence off to my right that told me to turn around and look at him. So I did, and I saw this Sasquatch in my mind's eye. He projected at me, crouched down, watching us. And he didn't freak me out. Because I feel like I have I remember a couple of lifetimes with Sasquatch, past lives. And so whenever I go to that part of the woods, he would be there with me, and we communicate for quite a while, for a couple of years. And it was a really nice, he was a young male. And he would come and tell me about his travels and things like that as we're walking through the woods. And I could actually feel his energy, like you were describing, with guides, how, to feel their energy. I'd feel him come close to me. And I also, he told me and explained to me as well, which I sensed anyway, that they can move through dimensions. They do move through dimensions. But people that are able to see them physically, I asked him, I said, why don't you appear to me physically? And he said, because it would make you faint. It would freak you out too much that I would faint. So he was protecting me, and not everyone can handle it. I understand. So, but same with extraterrestrials. Not everyone can handle that yet. And I'm working with my extraterrestrial peeps to help me see them slowly, you know, in their real form, or the form that they have, it, how they're working with me. But I also believe that, and what I understand is, there are Sasquatch on the planet that, just like humans, they're maybe not as developed as the interdimensional Sasquatch. Just like humans, there are some that are maybe more base, and they perhaps, and as I'm talking about it, I'm getting information, come from a different collective of beings on the planet. We're not as maybe as highly evolved, because we have so much here on the planet with us that we can't even imagine. Yeah, we can't even imagine. And I do believe that if Sasquatch is going to appear to someone, they feel safe, they trust you, and it's because they're checking us out telepathically, they're checking us out energetically. I mean, there's people that have relationships with them. I did an interview on my YouTube channel with a gentleman, Mike. His name is Mike too, Patterson, who has a relationship with a Sasquatch family, and they actually, he has audio of them talking to him, and communicating with him, and they say his name, Mike, and he has tons of audio and communications with them. They leave gifts for him. He leaves gifts for them. He's up in Canada. But it's really cool. I play some of his audio on my interview with him on my YouTube channel, here on my YouTube channel. So where we are. But anyway, yeah. Of course, there's probably lots of reasons why people see them, and the reason I didn't see him physically is because he told me that I would faint. So some people can't handle it.
Yeah.
It's pretty freaky. Go to ECETI, you might see some Sasquatch. But there's been lots of sightings in ECETI in Washington, Trout Lake.
Yeah, they're very popular here in Southern Oregon. There's a lot of talk of them.
Yeah. It's interesting that I understand that the Sasquatch are one of the species that the powers that be, I guess you could say, the underground governments do not want that information to come out.
Right. Just like the giants. Whenever a body or skeleton of a giant person is found, people will, the first thing you'll do is call up the police and say, look, I found this dead body, but it's huge, and then the police, of course, our government, and then our actual government shows
the men
up.
in black.
Yeah. Takes everything away, and you never hear of anything anymore. It's never displayed any museum or anything. So
yeah, just another example of how our history is being hidden from us.
Yes, very much so.
Another of thousands and thousands of examples.
Yeah.
But the good news is it's being uncovered. Yes, as we speak.
It is. A lot of changes taking place. So
yeah, a lot of information that's being flooded into our planet. Flooded, definitely.
Yeah.
Monica, you're still here. Yay. I hope that wasn't too creepy. And we are about done. Does anyone have any final questions for us? What about Mike over there?
No, they asked about the miracle box, and I gave them the name for it, and they said thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's real happy. Got a few wows.
It's pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been fun being Michele.
Well, she's a fun gal, so
She
I
is.
imagine it is,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
right?
She's always cracking jokes and she's a lot of fun.
She's hilarious. She should be a
Yeah,
comedian. She's so funny.
yeah, yeah. So
So
thank you
Monica
all
said
for
it was super
joining.
scary. Oh wait, we have something else. Peter just finished 3 months of home remodeling, experienced numerous times that information appeared just in time, avoiding mistakes, wondering who might be helping me.
Your guides and your higher self. Yeah, probably actually your higher self.
Yeah, or both. I mean, I believe our higher self sends our peeps here on, to help us that are closer to us, if that makes any sense. So
Yeah,
our higher self is us, right? That higher part of us that's that we're constantly in contact with. And so our guides, our angels, and some of our loved ones that are working with us, and all of our helpers, because we have lots of people, lots of beings helping us, not just people, beings, depending on their frequency, are in contact with our higher self. So that information gets passed down to our team, and the more open we are here on Peter, you must be open to it.
yeah,
Then the easier it is for our guys to bring things our way in our path and help us out.
yeah. And when those things happen, show gratitude, because the more gratitude you give, the more you're going to have to be grateful for.
Mhm.
So, and another name for this higher self that scientists use is our intuition.
Mhm.
That is our higher self.
Or gut feeling, as some men say.
Yeah, gut feeling. Yeah,
Detectives use that,
yeah,
men and women, not
yeah,
just men, but detectives use that.
yeah,
I had a gut feeling. My gut was just telling me. We all use it. My gut was telling me this. My gut was telling me that. That's intuition.
yeah. But saying thank you, being grateful, just and do it telepathically. They can hear you. Just think, oh, thank you for that.
Hey, Peter, are you aware of Archangel Michael working with you? I just got a intuition, a gut feeling that Archangel Michael is someone who stands behind you and helps you. Hey, Rachel. Peter says, I get a lot of help and always express my appreciation. Was just wondering if a name came through. Old friends who have those skills. Oh, hey. Well, trust what you get. Definitely.
Yeah,
Trust what you get. But I feel that Archangel Michael's working with you to help you with your light bearing. Yes, I was told that by another person several years ago. Yeah. Okay,
nice.
that makes sense.
There's confirmation. So
Michael. Yeah, Michael. Monica. Hey, Sharon, you have that box at your women's retreats. I don't always use it, only when you're there.
jab,
I'm trying to get you to not be afraid of it because it's just people using what we have to
yeah,
talk to us. And it
yeah.
might sound creepy, but it's not really.
No, they're just earthbound spirits that want to
Not
communicate.
earthbound.
Oh, no?
No, they're not earthbound. I was talking to my guide.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
No, they're not earthbound. I mean, we can use it to communicate with earthbound,
Yeah.
but I was talking with my guide. That's funny. You can talk to your dad. You can talk to your dad with that. All right. Anything else? I think
Well, we're all set here.
we're good. I'm comfortable with seeing them with my eyes closed. Oh, you mean you're not hearing the voice? Okay. Okay. Your inner vision. Baby steps. By the time we leave this earth, you will be comfortable with hearing their voices. That's my promise to you. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you all.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and sign off. Oh, and if everyone would please send some healing thoughts to Michele.
Yes, that would
Yeah, she's not feeling well, so just
And
take a moment to do that.
click the like button and all those other things.
Oh, also, let us self-promote ourselves while we're here. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, what do you have coming up?
Well, in 20 minutes, I have the healing circle.
Okay.
That's going on. That's where a bunch of healers and even people that have never done healing before get together and do healing on each other. That's through the Monterey Metaphysical Meetup group on meetup.com. And if you don't catch, you probably won't be able to catch it tonight. I think it's already filled. But in 2 weeks, we do it again on Thursday. And then this Saturday, I have the Psychic Playground, where a bunch of us get together and do readings for each other. And even again, if you've never done a reading, we had 3 people last week never did a reading before in their life and did wonderful, because often you're so open to it, the information just comes and you trust. You just, whatever comes in, spit it out. And so it was a lot of fun. So that's this Saturday. Again, the Monterey Metaphysical Meetup group on meetup.com. And then you can get a hold of me at mikedinkel.com if you'd like healing or reading, mediumship, whatever.
Nice. Okay. And I have, see what I have coming up next is a psychic and mediumship development course through my academy. It's a certification course. If anyone is interested in that, that starts July 17th, and you can find information on that on my website, SharonSananda.com. And lots of fun stuff, always doing fun stuff. So that's all I can think of at the moment. That's my next course. Then I'll have another one in August.
Nice.
Which I don't have down on the books yet. So always doing courses every month, and we are here to be of service. So thank you everyone for being here.
Yes.
And we love you. Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, she says, I felt it's been big energy out there. I felt like I was having a heart attack the last 2 days. Oh, that's not good. I'm glad you feel better. Yeah. Yes, you're welcome. Okay. All right. Ciao.
Bye-bye. Thanks again.